Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I feel like we should call this Mogul Mommy Thursdays, but we gonna call this whatever you want to call this. But to me, I call this Mogul Mommy Thursdays. We're gonna give women a couple minutes to join in. I am so excited. I was legitimately reviewing my notes because I got so much to share today. All right, if you are just joining us, please use the chat box. The chat box is like my yes corner. Okay. Like the chat box is when I feel your energy. It's like my cheering station. So feel free to light up the chat box today. I can't believe we're in week 3, guys. Like next Thursday is the last final class. And I'm kind of sad about it. But if you are just joining us, welcome to this Mogul Mommy Mastermind series sponsored by SNIPES. Tonight, I have such a treat for you all. And I am so excited to share. I'm going to wait one more minute. Rosie, hey, my love. I feel like Melina should win a prize because she's just always like the first one here. Joanna, how are you? Okay, so we're gonna get started because you guys already know how I do. I like to start on time, end on time. Hey, Carla. So, really quick, before I get into today's session, my chapter sister Christine is here. Hey, my love. So before I get into today's session, here's the thing I want you to know. If you won a prize, okay, if you won a prize last week, I want to let you know that I have not sent out any gift cards yet. I will be doing that this weekend. I was trying to like make sure I send everything out at the same time because I ordered some vaginal vitamins as a prize for some women and they didn't get here. They got sent to Tennessee. You guys know how the post office works a little bit. So I was trying to like send out all the prizes at the same time. So I'm still waiting on my package. The post office kind of messed it up, but I want to let you know that I didn't cheat you and I did not forget about you. Your prize is on the way. So for the women that won the prizes last week, if I announce your name, your gift card is en route. I pinky promise I will be emailing you tomorrow to reassure that I have the right address before I send out this money, before I send out these gift cards. But again, if you won a prize last week, if you were one of the 10 women who won a prize, your gift cards are coming. I know some of you guys, I love it. Hold me accountable. Some people email me like, hey girl, where is my prize? Your prize is coming, baby girl. Okay. I even bought the envelopes today to send them over. I got you. Just give me some time to get my life. All right. So welcome, welcome. My name is Elaine Gonzalez Johnson. I am a serial entrepreneur. I love the Lord. I love my husband. I love my children. But most of all, I absolutely love talking about purpose. I think that it is my assignment to encourage women, specifically women, to walk into the essence of their God given excellence. And so I'm so excited about this series because this has legitimately been a dream of mine for years. I created this series in my mind in 2018. And the fact that I'm able to bring this to you today, I wish we were in person, but the fact that I'm able to bring this to you today is legitimately a God wink. It is reassuring me that I'm absolutely doing what I was designed to do. And I do not take you for granted. So I thank you. Thank you for spending your Thursday with me. Thank you for spending an hour with me. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for sharing with your friends. So if you are like, girl, you bless me so much, how can I help you? Make sure to share this link right now. Text your girl squad and it's like, hey, we're about to get into it. You do not want to miss tonight's session. Share it with 5 people. Share the replay. The more views we get, the more abundance we're going to get this season 2. All right. So let's get into it. So, public speaking. It's so funny because I took my son to karate today and his sensei was legitimately talking about public speaking. The sensei was like, did you know there's a study that people would rather die than speak in public? And it hit home because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's legit what I'm talking about today with my Mogul Mommy squad. And I know that this is really tricky for some of us to talk about public speaking or to share how you feel. I was talking to my sister-in-law over the weekend, and she legitimately said, mind you, she's a kindergarten teacher. She legitimately said that she was in school, in high school and in college, and would accept a 0 whenever she had to do a presentation in front of her class, rather than do it because she was just that afraid. And so I'm like, hold up, we got to talk about this tonight. So tonight's topic is public speaking. And believe it or not, I was not always the speaker that I am today. Okay. You're not going to believe this, but growing up, I really did feel like I was a shy girl. I was very, very insecure. I was really unsure of myself. Now, I knew that I had a gift. I knew that I had a calling. I knew that I had purpose, but I was so shy to share my story, to share my gift with others. Now, I've always been kind. I've always been really great with people, but it's that public speaking thing that just freaked me out. Like my voice would shake. I would always like not volunteer. And it wasn't until I started my first business, Latinas in Motion, that organizations started to reach out to me. So colleges, corporations started to reach out to me like, hey, we want to, interview you, or hey, do you mind coming to speak to our students about what it's like being a woman, specifically a Latina, and starting a business. So as I told you in week 1, everything is figure outable. So even though I didn't feel confident to deliver a message, I wasn't going to say no. And here's the thing. You get paid to speak, sis. You do. There is a check attached to what it is that you do when you do it well. And so my first speaking engagement, I spoke at Bloomsburg University, a school that I graduated from, and it was horrific. I wish that I can share the video with you guys so that you could see how bad it was, but it was bad. I mean, I did my best. That's the thing. Like, as long as you're giving it your best, sis, your best is your best. I gave it my best. But when I tell you it was a little raggedy hot mess, it was a little raggedy hot mess. I said, a million times. Mind you, I was talking about Latinas in Motion. So it wasn't like I was talking about pottery. I was legitimately talking about Latinas in Motion, but I just could not get my story together. And the thing about public speaking is when you're talking about you, when you're talking about your ideas, when you're talking about your gift, when you're talking about your business, you should be able to string some words together because you're the creator. So oftentimes, I created the Plan Pray Slay Planner in 2017, right? So when I created this planner, women would email me, DM me, and say, hey, I don't know how to use this section. And I would be able to clearly illustrate what the section was used for. Why? Because I was the creator. So I wasn't in a situation where I felt nervous. I wasn't in a situation where I felt like I didn't know. I was so good with me because I'm the one that created this product and I designed it. So I want you to get good with you. Now, yes, we're talking about the Plan Pray Slay Planner, but in regards to you, your gift, your purpose, your calling, your business, you need to get good with sharing not only what you do, but why you do what you do. We're together? Give me a yes, girl, yes, if we're together. So here's the thing. When we're talking about public speaking, and we're talking about public speaking in regards to your business, your career, your purpose, something that you have to share in order for you to reach an end goal, right? So it's the same way as the interview process. If you want to get a job, if I wanted to be a teacher, I have to showcase that I'm a really good educator. And there's going to be a panel of peers that are going to say, you know what, she's great, or you know what, maybe she's not a good fit for us. If you are a business owner, when you have a product, you have to get really good at being unapologetic about sharing what it is that you do, why it is that you do what you do, and why people need that thing that you created. If you are shy, if you are embarrassed, if you feel like don't nobody care that I created this planner, I'm going to tell you to your face, get over that. Okay? Target does not care. All them little commercials that come up when I'm watching my shows, they keep getting all of my coins. Why? Because they believe in their products, because they know that there is a strategy behind why they do what they do. And so they're going to continually be in your face saying, hey, come to Target. You know what we got at Target? We got them good, cute bathing suits. Oh, you know what else we got? We got food. So you could come get your bathing suit and come get your eggs and bread. And you know what else too? You can get a mop while you're here. I mean, it is just, you guys know I'm a Target fan, but their commercials let you know that come to our store. Same thing with you, love buckets. When you're on social media, when you are in the streets, when you're at your family member's house, be unapologetic about talking about that thing that you know how to do well, especially when your gift, your calling, your purpose, your career is connected to people. And what did we say? Success is always connected to serving. So here you are being afraid to tell people what it was that you created. Meanwhile, somebody is waiting for your gift. There were so many people that told me, don't create a planner. Everybody uses an iPhone. Everybody uses an Android. Nobody's going to write something down on paper. And here we are, thousands, not hundreds, thousands of planner sales later. Here we are today. You got to get good with not paying attention to people's opinions, especially if they're not where you want to be. Because here's the thing. When God told you to do that thing that he told you to do, it was not a conference call, my love bucket. Okay. He told you. So if he told you to write the book, write the book. He didn't tell your mom and your sister and your boo. He told you to write the book. If he told you to go back to school, it is my expectation that you go back to school. If he said, you know what, start a crochet business, you better start that crochet business. Don't be looking at me like, I want to start a crochet business, but I live in an urban area in Philadelphia. I don't care. I do not care. I want you to start doing that thing that you know you were called to do. Why? Because the world needs what you have. Why? Because can't nobody do what you do like you do. So here's the thing. So let's start from the tippy top, okay? When you're stringing your words together and you're like, all right, Elaine, like how can I demonstrate or discuss or describe what it is that we're doing? I tell my husband all the time, people need to speak in colors. And you're like, what is that? You know exactly what that is. You know exactly what that is. When you go to a concert and the person who is leading, rapping, singing, and they're like, put your arms from here to there. And then here goes us. What are they doing? They're adding some emotion and a reaction, and they're connecting to their audience that is making us react, and we're doing what they want us to do, right? When you are at church and the pastor, preacher, priest, whatever you want to call whoever you go to church for, is saying, like, let the church say, and everybody say amen. There's a reaction. That's what you call speaking in colors, right? But then we also know what the flip side of that is. Have you ever been in a situation, seminar, conference, school, teacher, where someone is speaking and you would rather pluck your eyelashes out one by one because you have no idea how you're going to last one more minute in this session? We've been there. We've been there. And here's what we need to do. We need to add some emotion behind what it is that we're talking about. So if I went up to you and I'm like, you know what, Carla, buy this planner. Carla's going to be like, okay, goodbye. But if I'm like, Carla, first of all, this planner got sticker tabs and it's rose gold and it has all these like cute flowers on it, and you could write down what you're grateful for and you could write down affirmations. Carla gonna be like, girl, sign me up. Where is the link to this planner? You gotta know what is that special thing that sets you apart, because you got it. There is something that you have. There is something in your product. There is something in your spirit that sets you apart from everybody else. And if you're like, Elaine, I really don't know what that thing is, then I'm going to say, spend some time by yourself and figure out what that thing is, because everybody has it. Every single person that I know has that it factor. Maybe you just don't know what that it is yet, but spend some time alone and start to be like, all right, what is it about me that sets me apart? Like, for example, I know that if you hear "you just better," you're going to be thinking about me. Whenever you hear "hey, love bucket," you're going to be thinking about me. Why? Because those are some of the little knickknacks that set me apart. That's some of the levels of colors that I'm seeing really set me apart, instead of me saying like, hey, y'all, today we're going to speak about public speaking. Who wants to sit through that, right? So when I'm talking about speaking in colors, literally sit down, go on YouTube, shout out to YouTube, go on YouTube and start to look at your most favorite speakers. Who has your attention? Like for me, I love to listen to people like Pastor Michael Todd. I know some of you guys are clenching your invisible pearls, and that's fine. But I love, love, love to listen to Pastor Michael Todd, Stephen Furtick, TD Jakes, Sarah Jakes Roberts, Oprah. I'm trying to think of who else. Eric Thomas. Like when I'm thinking about personal development, when I'm thinking about people who speak well, when I'm thinking about people who can really describe a situation and can get me to a place that I feel like if they're describing a mountain, I feel like I'm at that mountain because they're describing it. That's who I'm watching. That's who I'm listening to. And that's where a lot of my time is going. Does that make sense? Holla at me if that makes sense. Give me a yes, that makes sense. Okay. So here's another thing, right? So when we're talking about what it is that you're going to say, I need you to be strategic in the delivery, right? So oftentimes, no one taught me how to market myself. Nobody taught me how to tell a story. Nobody taught me about public speaking. This legit has been trial and error. This legit has been trial by fire, if we if we want to say. There's been times that I have felt like I've killed a speaking engagement, and then there's been times where I felt like I bombed a speaking engagement. Like for example, during COVID, I was hired to speak and I had to keep a mask on the whole time. So imagine me speaking and this is all you see. I was giving it my best, y'all. But when I tell you that was one of the hardest things that I did, and then like I'm speaking and I speak a lot with my hands and my mask is going up and going down, like it was legitimately a little bit of a mess. And I remember calling my husband feeling so defeated, like, oh, that didn't go well. Because I feel like when I tell a story, it's me, like in my full essence with all of my colors telling the story. When you're hiding half my face, how can you really be engaged, right? And so with that, I've just continued to practice and practice and practice. And the reason why I'm coming to you guys at a 10 right now is because I legit just did a speaking engagement yesterday in Delaware, and it was like so amazing. But like just saying that the more you do something, the more you say something, the more you practice, even though it sounds so cliche, the better you get at it. My first speaking engagement was raggedy. Today, I could come at you and I don't even see you. I am legitimately looking at a webcam, but I could feel you. And I know that you can feel me too. Why? Because I've been doing this thing. Same thing for you. Get in front of people. I need you to perform with the same level of excellence, whether you're talking to one person or 1 million people. We get so caught up in the pressure to perform because we think that more people means more success. When in all actuality, you just need to reach one. You have no idea who that one person is connected to. You don't. You do not. For me, there was a person that I used to manage a student success center in Philly as an educator, and someone that I worked with ended up moving out of the state, getting a job with the Obama administration. When the office of Michelle Obama was thinking about who should we give tickets to, that person who used to work with me put my name in the ring. One person. It wasn't a million people telling the office of First Lady Michelle Obama, oh my gosh, did you know about Elaine? Did you know about Elaine and Latinas Emotion? It was one person. You need to get out of your head that you need a million followers. You need to get out of your head that you need to be in front of a million people. You need to perfect your message to one person because you have no idea who that one person is connected to. And when we're talking about our message, you have to know that you may not have 30 minutes. Sometimes you may just have 30 seconds. So, what are you going to say when you have the opportunity to say what you know you were created to say? Last week, I shared the story about opening up for First Lady Michelle Obama. That was maybe 2 minutes of my life, maybe 120 seconds. But I made sure that I left an impact in that moment. You may be on an elevator with somebody who has the opportunity to change your life. If you don't know how to narrow down what it is that you do in 30 seconds, that person may not have 30 minutes. I love one of my favorite movies is The Pursuit of Happiness, partly because I'm a business owner, but also because I love the story of grit. And if you guys watch the movie, I won't ruin it for you, but the main character played by Will Smith, he got into these situations where he legit had 1 or 2 minutes to change the narrative in a conversation. And he ultimately changed his life. Not only changed his life, changed his situation, changed his finances, changes everything. And so I need you to come into every situation with that same eager energy. So yesterday I was hired. I got paid my full speaking rate to speak at the YMCA in Delaware. There were five young ladies there. I gave them 150% of Elaine. I didn't say, oh, there's only five people here. Let me chill. Nah. Like we went for an hour and a half straight. I went for an hour and a half straight. Why? Because I know that my purpose is attached to someone. And maybe I was speaking to the next Oprah. Maybe I was speaking to the next Steve Jobs. Maybe I was speaking to the next Jennifer Lopez. And I needed them young women to know that they're worthy, that they have value, and that they have great purpose. And I did not leave the state of Delaware until I knew for sure that I had nothing left to say. I need you to walk into every room with that same energy. If you're watching this and you work full time, I salute you. I honor you. You have purpose. Walk into that building in the fullness of who you are. Have something to say. Don't shrink. Do not dim your light. Do not fold. When you have something to say, you say it. It's your job to say it. And too many of us, especially as women, if we're talking about Women's History Month, especially as women, we feel like I can't say that. I can't do that. If I say it like that, they're going to think I'm too spicy. Listen here. We both know that if people feel like you're too much of anything, that's their own perceptions of their own insecurities. I'm going to continue to take up space. Say that with me. I'm going to continue to take up space in any room I walk into because I know that any room I walk into, I was assigned to be there. You were assigned to be there. So spend some time figuring out what it is that you're doing. What is your gift? What is your purpose? And how can I take this maybe 30-minute story, right? Because listen, if I told you my life story, we'll probably be here for 4 hours. I want you to take that story and I want you to condense it. Okay. So what do you do? Why do you do what you do? And how can people support you? We'll talk about Latinas in Motion. Latinas in Motion is a nonprofit organization created to encourage, inspire, and empower women of color, specifically Latinas, to get active and get healthy. If you want to join us, join our private Facebook group on Facebook. That was one. How long did that take? 30 seconds. Mogul Mami. Mogul Mami was an organization I created because I was tired of women living in these boxes of having to choose whether they were going to be a great mom, a great wife, or a great business owner. And I decided we're going to put these two words together and you're going to be great and you're going to walk on purpose. And I coach women, I teach women, I mentor women how to walk in the essence of their excellence. 30 seconds. Hasn't even been a minute yet. We can do this all day. We can do this all day. My husband is a principal. My husband's first passion and purpose is to educate young people that come from the inner city so that they know that they have power, that they have value, that they're worthy, and that they deserve the best education anyone has given them. We haven't even reached 825 yet. I've done 3. Get in the habit of telling your story within a minute so that you can tell that same story to somebody when you have the opportunity. All right, so it's 8:24. My special guest is about to arrive, so let me go a little bit quicker. So when I was taking this drive to Delaware, I was listening to one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Michael Todd. Okay, and the sermon was amazing. But something stuck with me. All right, and so as he's preaching and teaching and everything, he talked about the story of Moses. So most of us know the story of Moses, like the whole "let my people go." He had a stick and the water separated. We together, or y'all never heard the story of Moses? Let me know. Let me know if you heard the story of Moses. So there's this story of this man, and he had like great power and great influence, and he was chosen, right? The thing is that when Moses was born, this is true, you guys could read it in the Bible. When Moses was born, the king at the time had ordered all these babies to be killed, to be thrown into the Nile. This is true. Like, this is not TV. I know this could be like Netflix series or whatever, but this is like true factual, okay? So all these babies were thrown, and Moses' mother was just like, I'm not throwing my baby in this river because I think he's special. I think he's amazing. And so Moses ends up being saved, and I'm gonna give you the Spark Notes version. He ends up being saved, and he actually grows up in this palace or whatever, and he grows up to be super powerful, game changer. I mean, game changer, right? But I want you to remember the story that before he walked in his power, right? Before he had all this influence, before he was even born, he had purpose. So much purpose that this king, who never even met this baby man, right, was like, yo, we got to kill all these babies because can't nobody be more powerful than me, right? And I want you to think, in this story, when somebody cannot kill a king because it was a baby, when somebody cannot kill a king, they're going to kill it as a kid. When you can't kill the king, they're going to kill it as a kid. You're no different. How old were you when somebody cut your wings? How old were you when somebody said you didn't have a voice? How old were you when somebody said that you couldn't? How old were you when you felt like you couldn't? Because here's the thing, a fear of public speaking, that's not taught to you. Because when you're a baby, like I think about my own children, my kids are fearless. They were fearless. Like, why do you think kids touch stoves? They don't know that it could hurt them. That's no fear. Why do you think some children drown? Because they run into the ocean because they have no fear. A fear of public speaking, somebody told you that you didn't have something to say. Somebody told you that they didn't like your voice. There was someone that made you feel inadequate. There was someone that made you feel small. And I'm here to tell you, whoever that person was saw your power, saw your purpose, saw your potential, and they were just giving you their own insecurity. And it's not just, maybe you feel like nobody told you that. Maybe you felt like nobody told you that. Maybe life's situations made you feel that way. And that's why I love this illustration about Moses, because when I think about my life, I should not be here talking to you today. I shouldn't. I come from a family where my dad beat my mom in front of us. I was sexually molested for years as a young girl. All of these situations, when you sandwich them together, I should be quiet, but I choose me. I choose purpose. I choose my light. I decided I'm not going to fold. I'm going to shine anyways. I'm going to fail and I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it anyways. The reason why I'm too much for people is because I'm free. I'm free in the person that I was created to be. And I wasn't always like that. But if you're watching this right now, I want you to free yourself from people's opinions, from your past hurt. And I could not do today's session without my sister, Sarah. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is the most amazing therapist. Like when I tell you she's gifted, she's gifted. She's one of the dopest entrepreneurs who is so humble. Like Sarah shows up with a whole tent at Made in America, like, hey, like so humble. Like people don't have these opportunities. Sarah is the same person. She's a minister. When I talk about being a young, Black, beautiful woman and a minister, it's hard. It's hard for us to choose God in a world that tells us that's corny. And homegirl stands up in her greatness and is like, listen, I'm gonna rock these tattoos, I'm gonna rock my cute outfits, and I'm gonna be a minister anyways. But I love her. She's a serial entrepreneur. It's crazy because we went to college together, but I feel like God just made us magnets as adults. And she's the person that I needed when I didn't know that I needed. Like, there have been times that Sarah and I don't talk for months. This is like true story. We could not talk for months. If I call Sarah and say, Sarah, will you pray for me? She will stop whatever she's doing. I think one time she was even on a date. And I'm like, girl, goodbye and good night. Like, go enjoy this date. But like, she legit makes space for me. You need people, you need women in your life that make space for you. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have Sarah join us. Let me bring her on.
Hey.
Hello, greatness. First of all, you so cute.
I didn't feel it. I had to put a lip on this ponytail.
Yes, I'm feeling the lip and I'm feeling the ponytail. Okay, so Sarah, tell us about what you do.
Okay, so I'm from North Philly, first of all. So that's like get that out there, put that out there. But I am a therapist. I have been a therapist for 2 years now. On my way to licensure. So that's a dope feeling right now. I'm also a minister, like Elaine said. I am also an entrepreneur. I have a nonprofit called Dare to Hope, and Dare to Hope's goal is to conquer suicide in youth and young adults. We started out in Philadelphia, but we are branching off into different sections now. So I'm excited about that as well.
So, why did you start Dare to Hope?
So I started Dare to Hope because actually my friend died by suicide. And when he passed away, I didn't want anybody else to be able to feel the way we felt. And when I say feel the way we felt, I mean, we were like clueless. We didn't know any of the warning signs to look for. So now, on top of our grief, it was like layered with guilt because we didn't recognize it. And so in my mind, how then can I change that for somebody else? Is through education. So his death kind of changed the trajectory of my whole life.
When you started Dare to Hope, did you know what you were doing?
Absolutely. I still don't know what I'm doing some days. I still wake up and be like, wait, what? So no, I absolutely did not know what I was doing, but I'm a person that has to find out like through trial and error. Like I'm not a person that's going to like my friend that I do my podcast with, she says I'm the one that just jumps, where she's like, no, I got to figure out how I'm gonna land, what I'm gonna do. So I just jumped into it. So no, I didn't know what I was doing.
And what has been your greatest accomplishment as a business owner, and what has been the hardest thing you went through in business?
I think my greatest accomplishment, and I don't know if I've had a greatest accomplishment yet, but I think just seeing my vision turn into reality. Like you say about like being at Made in America, like seeing something that I had a dream about actually like manifest itself. I guess that's the greatest accomplishment. And I know we're not done yet. Like we have some major things about to happen in the next few months, but it's like that's one thing I could say, like actually seeing it go from a vision to reality. The hardest part is like the management side of business. I wasn't a business major in Bloomsburg. I wasn't a business, my degrees are in biblical studies and human services and counseling. So like I'm not a business person. I don't have that business mindset. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges for me, having to hire people to do that part.
So today's topic, we were talking about public speaking,
Mhm.
and you're like, you preach, so you're a public speaker, right? You have to talk about your businesses in these different platforms. So what are some tips you would give us? Like, how did you get more comfortable in your messaging?
So I think for me, I always ran my mouth. Like I always from like I probably got a beating every day growing up because I just ran my mouth. I questioned everything. I challenged a lot of things. So for me, I think it came naturally. I still get nervous, right? So I think that part of my my preparation is like I have to prepare. Especially if I'm doing things like a panel. I remember we did a Dr. King panel and I felt like inadequate when I saw the other speakers on the panel. So I like really sat there and studied and prepared for it. So in those moments when I feel inadequate or I feel like, it may be challenging to me, I really sit and prepare. But honestly, like I think it's more of a gift than anything for me because this is what I've been doing like since I was a kid. So it kind of comes naturally, but I do have to prepare in certain situations.
That's so good. Are y'all listening to this? This is so good. Okay, so you're a minister, you're a therapist, you're the founder of an organization. How do you manage all of these different hats?
If you would ask my friends, they would probably tell you I don't. Um, me and you have conversations about it. I think now I'm being more aware of like it's okay to ask for help, that I can't do everything on my own. I think also being kind to myself and realizing that you can't do everything and that's okay. And telling myself that and being okay with it because I want to save the world. So it's like, when my phone is ringing or somebody needs this or somebody needs that or somebody gave somebody my phone number that I didn't ask them to, and it's like their emergency. I feel like I'm learning to not make everybody's emergency my emergency. So that's the
Yes.
kind of way I balance it. I don't have like a calendar where I say Tuesday is there to hold this day is therapy. Like I just kind of live and kind of figure it out on my way, I guess. I don't know if that's a good enough answer, but that's my truth.
No, that's a great listen. We're here. I tell everybody we're gonna be honest and transparent because my way may not work for everybody, right? So
Mhm.
like you standing in your truth may resonate with somebody else who's on the call. So another question I have for you, Sarah, is as a therapist, right? I think that in our communities, just therapy, mental health, wellness, they're not topics that we talk about at
Mhm.
all. So how do you know that you're not well, or how do you know that you need help? Are there some things that we should look at in ourselves to be like, you know what, I'm not okay?
So I always say this, right? A lot of times because we don't talk about this in the black community or any like minority community, we don't really talk about our mental health. So one thing I say is that like, we can walk around and like if you have chest pains, like something's going on. If your head hurts, there's something going on. Like if you have pain in your back, something going on. That's the same way we have to be aware of our emotions, right? When we get up in the morning and something doesn't feel right, when we feel cloudy or we feel overwhelmed or we feel like immense sadness, like that's our bodies telling us there's something wrong. So the same way we pay attention to our physical bodies and our physical aches and pains, we have to be mindful of what our emotions are telling us. And we have to tune into that and not ignore that. I think it's easier for us to ignore the emotional pains than it is for us to ignore the physical pains. So that would be my first thing I would say, like pay attention to your body and not just the physical part, but the emotional part as well.
That is so good. It's so good. You want to know what's funny too is that just on Friday I had went on Instagram to share this. I felt myself off. Like I felt really cranky, really easily irritable. Like, my husband called me and he was just like, "What's wrong?" And I legit just started crying because I felt so overwhelmed. So I took a step back and just assessed what has changed. And believe it or not, like I don't know if this is going to make somebody laugh, but like I didn't work out for like 2 days straight. And so for me, working out is not just because I want to be snatched, because I do, but it's also a release of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just makes me feel better. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. Your routine was off.
Yes, my routine was off. So, like, if you're on this call, if you're watching this replay, I want to encourage you to like start paying attention to your patterns. And to Sarah's point, it's not always something has to be attached to trauma. It's like we've been through a lot with this
Mhm.
pandemic, with the world. Like, I feel like we're all kind of walking around with I don't know what's the word for it? Is it trauma?
we all have we all have been exposed to trauma, but to your point though, can I say this?
Say it.
Because we're women, it's layered too. So like I've been off, but I'm realizing like I need to pay attention to my cycle because it seems like before my cycle comes on, I am more emotional. I feel
Right.
like I'm Vivian Green on an emotional roller coaster. So it's like we have all these layers of what could be wrong, right? It could be this, it could be that, it could be the pandemic, it could be the fog that we've all been living in, it could be the trauma that we've been exposed to, and it could be, you know, the stuff that we go through as women. So I think all of that plays a part into like what you're saying, our moods and how we can be from day to day.
So I'm gonna ask you some more questions because I know you booked and busy.
No, you fine. You fine.
So my next question is, we didn't even talk about your book. You wrote a book.
I did write a book. You know what's funny? I never mentioned the book. I don't know why. And that's my baby.
Why. Tell us about the book.
So I wrote a book called Move Making Monday. And so what happened was that I told God for 52 weeks I was going to post Monday motivation on social media. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that people started their weeks off in a positive way, because I think that we always look at Mondays and like dread Mondays. We dread having to go back to work. We dread having to like go back to reality. It's kind of like the OJs had a song "Living for the Weekend." So we always, live for that Friday, Saturday, Sunday effect. But then when Mondays comes, we kind of like go down this like slope of like sadness or, dread. And so I did it. I did that on Facebook for 52 weeks. I did a Move Making Monday message. And about a year later, I'm like, I wonder if I could turn this into a book. Just off of the messages that I posted. I didn't sit there and create anymore. I took those 52 messages and I created a book for by that. And so this book is called Move Making Monday, and it's literally 52 messages to get you through each Monday of the year.
That is so amazing, guys. I know my husband is probably so irked because he's been like, you have so much material to write a book. You need to write this book. And so you're just reiterating that you don't always got to reinvent the wheel. You may have a message. I know that's right. So the last thing I'm going to ask you is, what is one piece of advice would you give to women on how to dream out loud?
Don't be afraid to live. Don't be afraid to live. When I think about dreaming out loud, I see freedom, right? And my message is like, don't be afraid to live, because freedom comes with it, right? Freedom comes with dreaming out loud. Freedom comes with, I don't want to say fearless, because nobody's fearless. Like, we all have some type of fear, but to push past the fear and not be like held or bound by the fear. I had a professor in grad school. He would always say, I want y'all to live a life without ceilings or walls. And since the first day he told me that, I've been striving to live my life without ceilings and walls and dreaming out loud, though. That looks like dreaming out loud. That looks like manifesting what I want. That looks like putting the work behind it. That looks like, Kobe Bryant said this. He said that the dream is the journey, right? So when you think about dreaming out loud, that is pursuing what you want. Like, the journey is the dream. Where we get to is the prize, but the journey is the dream. So I think dreaming out loud says pursue what you want in life. Don't be afraid to pursue it. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to speak up and go for what you want. That's what I would say to that.
That was so powerful. And before you leave, someone wants to know, what's the title of your book and is it available on Amazon?
Yes. So the title of the book is Move Making Monday, and it is on Amazon.
Move Making Monday. It is available on Amazon by this beautiful, amazing, phenomenal woman, Sarah Ashley Andrews. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us, blessing us, sharing. I appreciate you. How can we follow you on social media?
So you can follow me. My personal page is I Run Dare, and it's the number 2 Hope. So I Run Dare, number 2 Hope. Our Dare to Hope page is Dare to Hope. And then my Facebook page is just my name, Sarah Ashley Andrews.
Yes. So on Instagram, I Run Dare, the number 2 Hope, because she a boss. And then I'll also, when I recap this, I will also make sure that you guys have all her information to connect, support, and continue to follow her amazing journey. Sarah, thank you.
Thank you sis, for having me so much.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Okay. So we have about 15 minutes left. If you have any questions about anything, business, public speaking, what we talked about last week, drop them in the chat so that I can make sure that you get your question answered on today. Okay. Get your question answered on today. The one thing I will say about public speaking, the one thing I will say about entrepreneurship, life in general, get you a village of women that will support you, ride for you, keep you accountable. Don't just keep yes people in your circle. That's detrimental to your success, to your journey, and to your growth. Like, I remember there's an amazing pastor in Philly, Dr. Alan Waller. And I remember listening to him speak one time, and he was like, I don't need people around me that think I'm cool. Right. And he wasn't saying it in terms of like people not thinking you're cool, but it's like people that's like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing and I love you so much and you're so cute and you're so this and you're like, you need people that are going to say, hey, next time do this. Have you considered this? Maybe not say that this time. Like, accountability is everything in terms of growth, in terms of getting better, in terms of moving forward. The goal is to continue to progress, y'all. The goal is to continue to progress. Anyone that makes you feel bad about wanting more, about wanting to be better, about wanting to grow, they don't need to be with you in the next level. And I don't mean that in terms of, oh, well, you got to be like, we can't be friends. But what I'm saying is maybe not picking up the phone every single time they call if they're calling to gossip. If when you leave that phone call, you feel deflated, you do not need to be picking up the call. Okay? When people call me, I get excited. I get excited because I know when I leave that call, I'm going to be hyped. I'm going to have some laughs, or some people just hold me accountable. So I love it. Make sure that you're consistently assessing not only yourself, but people who are around you, because whether you like it or not, they're feeding messages into your mind, y'all. They're feeding, and it's either tearing you down or building you up. So pay close attention to how you feel. I always say, like, when people be like, I gotta trust my gut. I always feel like my gut is my intuition. It's my compass on what feels good, right? And what I shouldn't be doing. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Is there any forums or classes that have assisted you on your journey to perfecting your public speaking? So, I've never done a forum or class on public speaking. There is a class called Toastmasters. They're like a franchise all over the US. I will tell you, figure out what your signature speech or talk is going to be, right? So when I was at Bloomsburg, I actually took a public speaking class, and I know that some people are really afraid to speak. There was this one guy, God bless his heart, he would legit, guys, no lie, foam at the mouth. Like foam at the mouth when he was speaking, and he got really red. And the professor used to say, like, maybe some tips is to drink water before you speak, because the speech was only like 2 minutes, but I don't know if it was just like him being nervous, just foaming at the mouth. And so one of the things I will tell you is, like, start with something small, like pretend that you're going to give a wedding speech at your best friend's wedding. That's going to be easy for you to talk about, right? Like, I could talk for hours about my best friend, but if I had to write down what is my speech going to be at my best friend's wedding, start with that, Melina. And then get good at just being comfortable with having something to say. Once you get comfortable with having something to say, move on to things that you know you want to say. So once I start with the little things like, what am I going to say at a birthday party? Another activity that you can do is try to give a speech on describing something. So Melina, maybe describe how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and go step by step by step. So when I did this, when I was at Bloomsburg in my public speaking class, so I guess I did take a public speaking class. I lied to you. I said I didn't, but I did. But I guess I didn't count it because it was undergrad. But one of the things she had us do was write out instructions. So let's say peanut butter and jelly. And then the rest of the class, we would have the things to make the peanut butter and jelly. And as I'm giving my speech, you notice how many details you leave out. Because if I say, put the peanut butter on the bread, I did not say grab a knife. You're going to take the top off the peanut butter. Then you're going to scoop the knife into the peanut butter. Then you're going to spread. Guys, I'm really good at this. I'm going as I'm going. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. But like, that's how detailed you want to be. So when I'm talking about speaking in colors, I'm talking about being detailed in your messaging. Does that make sense? So like start to practice with having to instruct somebody or give somebody directions to do something. And then you're going to see how many details are missing or how detailed you are. And then the test is going to be, can you do it within 5 minutes? Don't nobody want to know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a 60-minute tutorial, boo. Okay? So how can we get this peanut butter and jelly sandwich well detailed within 5 minutes? I hope that was helpful. Okay. Okay, Jennifer, I love public speaking. I just hate to be seen. Goodbye and good night. First of all, not only are you beautiful, but second of all, you better let the world see you. Okay. And that's my friend. So we be joking. But here's the thing, right? If you feel uncomfortable, I want you to start looking at what makes you feel comfortable. So, like Eric Thomas, amazing public speaker. Anytime he speaks in Jordans, sometimes sweatsuits, and a hat, a fitted hat. And I realized that when I was speaking, I thought that I had to wear a dress and pearls, and my hair had to be straight because that's what public speakers look like. Now I go as me. I go with whatever it is that I'm feeling that day. You want to know why? I feel my best when I feel my best. I speak my best when I feel my best. If I feel like I have to be someone else to share that story, you're probably not going to get the best version of the story. So, like, if I feel like I have to wear a huge sweatsuit, all baggy with some Tims, and my hair gotta be back in a ponytail, I'm not gonna give you the Elaine you're receiving today. I love me a good popping lip color. I love to look snatched, right? So maybe I'm wearing tight jeans with a blouse. Maybe I'm wearing a tight blouse with some sweats. I don't know yet, but I just know that when I feel good, that's the type of message that I'm delivering. So it's important for you to know who you are. My brother speaks often and he feels at his best when he's wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and a hat because he says he sweats so much that his hat helps his sweat. But he learned that through trial and error. He used to speak in suits and would sweat out his suits. And now everybody's staring at all your sweat marks that they're not even paying attention to what you're saying. So try to figure out, okay, when do I feel comfortable? And let me also say, make sure that you stand in your in what you're going to deliver. So what am I saying? Like if I feel comfortable in jeans, heels, and a blouse, and somebody's like, oh well, actually, you were supposed to wear all black. I'm gonna say, listen, this is what you get. If you want me to deliver this message, this is what I'm gonna go as. Case in point, I was invited to Harvard University to speak at a conference. In the email, it said we would prefer if women came in black or navy blue suits. Y'all want to know what I wore? I wore a red fitted suit with a mesh shirt under, with some gold hoop earrings, with my hair looking like this and a red lipstick. And that is what I wore to Harvard. And it was great. Like so many women came up to me like, yo, I love your suit. You look so bomb. But I'm going to go as me. Harvard or no Harvard, I'm going to go as me. Okay. I hope that makes sense. All right. Let me make sure. All right. Mercedes says that she has attended Toastmasters meetings and they are super helpful. So Melina, look into that. Okay. What makes a classic speech? The certain length, the colors, the content, or all of the above. Okay. So when I say what is your signature speech, I mean, or what is a classic speech? I mean, what is that thing that people often ask you about? So, like for me, people are always DMing me and emailing me asking me, hey girl, can I pick your brain about business? Hey girl, can I pick your brain about how you got all these partnerships? Hey girl, can I pick your brain? And it's always the same, right? So for me, when I'm thinking about my signature speech, I'm often thinking about what are the questions that I'm often asked? Does that make sense? What are the questions that I'm often asked? And then once I realize what those questions are, how can I not only make it relatable, but make sure that I'm being honest in my messaging, but I'm also being authentic in what I'm saying as well, right? I cannot speak like anybody other than who I am. I want you to get comfortable with your voice, your verbiage, your language, your rhythm, because you're the only person that's going to be able to tell your story about yourself, your story about your business, and why people should support whatever it is that you're doing. Only you can deliver that message. So when we're talking about your signature speech, when we're talking about your signature talk, making sure that you're not just up there saying like, I am so great. I am great because I look good. I am great because I feel good. I'm great. Listen, boo, we know you're great, but we also know that we need these questions answered. So what I do is I talk about purpose, but I also thread and embed answers to questions that I'm asked. So one of the top questions I'm always asked is, how did you start Latinas in Motion? So in my signature speech, I'm always going to talk about Latinas in Motion, and I'm going to share, hey, I did a fundraiser to raise $2,000 to hire a consultant to do my 501c3 nonprofit paperwork. Does that make sense? It's like if people are asking me, how did you create your planner? I'm going to say, well, when I was speaking at colleges, universities, and corporations, everyone would ask how I had so much energy, how I managed everything, and how I was so organized. So I would tell them I do daily affirmations and daily gratitude and a to-do list. Then once I created the planner, I was legit just showcasing the product I created. So it made it so much easier for me to talk about that thing. But make sure that you're using free avenues to narrow down your messaging. Like, for example, Instagram stories. I know y'all are rolling your eyes right now, but Instagram stories, I know that y'all see me on Instagram all the time and Facebook all the time, but telling stories often helps me become a better storyteller, helps me to become a better storyteller. So it's just like, I remember one time somebody was like, I wish I had your life. All you do is get on Instagram all day. Ma'am, I wish that's all I did. You don't even see the strategy behind what I do, But I often get on Instagram, and we talked about this last week, so that people can know, like, and trust me. We learned last week that people only do business with people who they know, like, and trust. So if I'm consistently on Instagram, if I'm consistently on YouTube, if I'm on TikTok, if I'm on Facebook, sharing my truth, sharing little parts of my day, and telling stories, when it's time to do a storytelling public speaking session with Snipes, listen, I'm doing it because I speak every day. If you're not sharing your goodness and your greatness and your stories with people on a daily, how do you expect to get better at it? You get better at it by consistently doing that thing, right? Like, let's talk about running. I became a great runner when I started to run more often. My first run was raggedy. Now, if you were like, if Mercedes was like, Elaine, let's run 3 miles, I'm gonna say, all right, let's go, because it's what I do. Whereas before, I would have been like, girl, let's start off with 1 mile because I'm not a runner and I'm not this and I'm not that. But because it's what I do, because I've reached this level of fitness, if Mercedes is like, girl, let's go run 3 miles, I can run 3 miles. Your storytelling, your public speaking, it's the same exact way. You want to get better, you have to start doing that thing that makes you uncomfortable. And it's going to feel weird at first. And I don't care if you delete your video 55 times on Instagram stories. You know how they let you like record 30 seconds or 60 seconds? I don't care if you delete it 60 times. What I do care about is that you're consistently putting a message out there, because the world is waiting on your message. The world is waiting on your gift. The world is ready for you to share your purpose with it. So stop being scared. All right, let me make sure I didn't get any other questions. All right, so I didn't. We are right about time. I am so grateful you guys decided to tune in today. Make sure that you share the replay of this video with at least, I'm talking about minimum, at least 5 people. I will be sending out Sarah's information if you want to follow her, if you want to purchase her book. She's absolutely amazing. Next week, next Thursday is our last session. So if you don't do anything, make sure that you put a reminder on your phone. Like, next Thursday is the last session and we're going all in. We are going all in. We're going to tie this up with a bow. And I'm so excited because we're going to have a lot more giveaways on Thursday. So tune in next Thursday, our final final masterclass of the series. I cannot wait to see you. I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate you women so much. And I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.